Dr. Kevin Hoffarth here again, the author of the book, Functional Medicine, The New Standard, here talking to you about body composition between the two couples in it to win it. Now, this is exciting stuff. They're all four doing great. But let's start with going back to the basics. And the basics are that in order to determine if you are healthy, you need three things aligned. How you feel, okay, they're all actually starting to feel really good. Okay, there's some ups and downs, but markedly better after that first 2-week window. Number two is their body composition that we're going to talk about today. And three is your biomarkers. Now, I am in the 21st century, so I use DEXA Body Composition. Throw out the damn scale. The scale doesn't mean anything, frankly, guys. Muscle is our metabolic machinery. This is why guys can lose weight so much easier than most females, because we have more muscle. Let me just point this out. A very, very buffed out female will have about 120, 125 pounds of muscle. She's rocked out, okay? Where a really, really skinny guy will have 125 pounds of muscle, okay? So it's just, we're comparing apples to oranges, and that's why weight loss is different from males and females. So let's separate them because I think it's easier to. So I'm gonna start with the guys, not to stoke competition here, maybe a little bit. The guys did not start off that great, okay, compared to the women. Women really actually started off pretty damn well. Now, let's talk about Joe and Dave. For a guy, we want our total body fat at 15%. But total body fat doesn't mean a whole lot if we're not putting in relationship to the android body fat. What is the fat that's between here and here? Okay, and we want this at 15%. But with the android body fat is, we don't want most of our fat being distributed in the android distribution. For Joe, a large percentage for his size is in that distribution. It's 43%, which is why I would call him skinny fat. He looks fine in clothes, okay? He doesn't look fat, but he's got most of his distribution here. Where Dave, he's got 45% of his weight here. He's got really high muscle, though, in comparison to Joe. So let's look at them a little bit differently. Now, both of them for fat to muscle ratios for guys should be 1:6. So you just take the total muscle that you have and divide it by 6, and you'll get kind of the rough range of where you should be fat-wise. However, Joe is starting at 150 pounds of muscle. For being a guy who is, 6'1", 6'2" range, that's awfully low, okay? And so my feeling is because he is almost 43 years old, 42 and a half, he's probably low on testosterone. That may be a piece to the pie. He doesn't drink, so it's not, his android is not due to that. And so but yet he's a chef, so he probably is eating a lot of things that are not really great for him, because he kind of has to on some levels. And at the same time, he probably is low testosterone. Where Dave, okay, he's starting actually very high muscle for his height and age. He's starting at 183 pounds of muscle. That's a lot of muscle. But his fat is starting at 89 pounds. So he's a 1:2 ratio, where Joe is starting at a 1:2.6 ratio. If we're not going to adjust for muscle, he needs to lose 32 pounds of fat, where Dave has to lose 58 pounds of fat in order to both of them be in the 1:6 ratio. Again, that android distribution has a lot to do with alcohol, cortisol, and insulin, okay? And the goal is to try to determine which ones, or more than one, that this is relating to. Females start off pretty awesome. Females, I want their total body fat around 25%. Jessica was at 27%, Tiffany, 27%. They're, okay. Tiffany's about 3 years younger. She's got about 2 pounds more muscle, but she's also about 2 inches taller. So actually, they're about right in there, about the same when you adjust for those other elements. Both of them actually, their muscle is 95 and 93 pounds, and their fat is identical at 35 pounds of fat. So they both actually only need to lose 4 pounds of fat. No muscle loss is the goal, okay? And what's important to remember, that's easy, okay? They probably are actually already there, by the way. We're only about 2 to 3 weeks into this, and I get, because they've been so good, But what's interesting is that with Tiffany, her android body fat is under 25%. And yet Jessica's android is at 33%, which suggests a couple of things. One is maybe because she's 3 years older, maybe there's a estrogen dominant picture going on. That's a whole nother topic. Number 2 is maybe her cortisol is a little bit higher. And number 3 is maybe alcohol is a little bit more part of her life than maybe she's admitting, because that can actually distribute more fat to that area. Said they enjoy their wine at night, but it seems to be maybe impacting Jessica a little bit more than Tiffany. Now, both, even since they're both like doing really well, we got to set our bar even better. There's no reason that Tiffany could not get her android body fat on 15%, where Jessica could easily get it to around 20%. And the lower below that 25%, the better the rest of the system works, particularly detox pathways, okay? And so it's really important that, the lower the better in the android distribution. Absolutely. 25% is just the starting goal. So good job, ladies. Men, you got some work to do, but I'm very proud of all 4 of you. It's been fun to watch you guys trash talk each other along this way. A little competition never hurts, getting everybody kind of motivated. See you next time.